But that's all the negative news I got coming from you guys out of the Game Awards. And more positive news. One of the big things that was announced during the Game Awards is Elden Ring is getting a new expansion called Night Rain. Actually, I believe IGN did a video. I think I forgot to save it. Let's see. IGN Night Rain.
Thanks for the follow. But unfortunately, dick riding is not a proper form of transportation.
Anyways, they're doing a network test.
Get off my
The details I have
dick.
off the top of my head is you can either play. They said you can either play solo or 3-man co-op. You can't do a duo. So solo, 3-man co-op. You have to loot. There's a moving circle, and there's bosses at the end of like every session, with a major boss after like 3 days straight or something like that. But yeah, they're gonna be doing a network test, a beta test starting January 10th. So just trying to make y'all aware that it is coming. I thought this was a standalone. From my understanding, it is. Or expansion or some shit. But yeah, they played it. So let's see what they have to say. I forgot to save this, but I'm glad I remembered it. Let's check it out. Yeah, it's a roguelike standalone.
I hope this new follower is as loyal to you as Harley's dumbass
Other
is
worlds
to
to
me.
the startling second phases that completely turned the tables in so many of its boss fights. 2022's
Wait, it's a
Elden Ring
BR?
was a mesmerizing
No.
action RPG.
You're not. I guess it's like a BR, but you're competing against. You're competing against the computer, if that makes sense.
Adventure that surprised players at
You're not
every
competing against
turn.
other players.
Now, more than 2 years later, it appears that developer From Software isn't done with pulling the rug out from under the feet of its fan base just yet. With the surprise reveal of Elden Ring Night Rain, a standalone co-op spin-off that takes the cautious dungeon crawls of Elden Ring and turbocharges them into propulsive slash-and-dash speedruns. After spending some 6 hours of hands-on time with this bold new spin on From Software's own Souls-like formula, I can confirm that Night Rain is shaping up to be something truly unique.
And that sounds like a good unique, the way his tone had it. It isn't a bad unique.
If Elden Ring was one of 2022's biggest chart-topping hits, then Night Rain would appear to be its dance floor-filling remix. Chopped up, intensified in beats per minute, and designed to both excite fans of the original and broaden its appeal to the masses. Now, unfortunately, because it was such an early build of the game that I played, I wasn't able to capture any footage, even though it was running great on PlayStation 5. So I apologize for the generic footage I'll be using here, and also for my generic face. Anyway, here's how Night Rain breaks down. Imagine stepping back into the opening area from the original game, only nothing in the landscape seems to be where you remember it. Also, there are 3 of you now, and everything seems to be happening at a much higher tempo. That's Night Rain in a nutshell. You squad up with 2 other players at the start of each round, get dropped into a densely packed alternate reality chunk of Limgrave that has both its enemy types and structures randomly shuffled around at the beginning of each session, and it's up to you and your squad mates to build up from your lowly level 1 character's status as fast as possible by harvesting runes and earning Destiny-style loot drops as you slash and dash through every enemy-filled camp that you come across. So, what's the big rush? Well, each session of Night Rain is structured as a 3-day cycle, with each in-game
mimic tier allowed. Well, from my understanding, this is going to have a class-based system. I don't think you're creating characters. You're given like a certain build, and then you have to build upon it and make it your own. But like, I think it's like 8 classes or something like that. So it's not going to be your build. So like everybody who's running, I'm not gonna lie, niggas who run mimic tiers might be having trouble with this game.
Day taking about 15 minutes to complete. At the start of the first day, you can pretty much pick
Although
any
you got
direction
co-op,
to
so your
plot
friends
your
can bail
whirling
you
path
out.
of destruction along. But as day approaches night, the space you can operate in narrows, and you're liable to be killed by acid-like rain should you find yourself caught for too long beyond the perimeter of the rapidly shrinking
PC
circle
Gamer
on the
was more
map,
thorough if you haven't
known
seen it.
as the Ring of Rain. In that regard, Night Rain is a bit like Fortnite, only with more medieval forts and knights, and considerably less TikTok dances. Once the Ring of Rain reaches its smallest diameter at the end of the day, a major boss fight is triggered. Like the rest of Night Rain's enemies, these end-of-day bosses are always randomized, and during my repeat runs, I experienced clashes with familiar returning foes like a draconian tree sentinel, as well as some brand new nasties like the centipede, a towering, twisting swarm of disgusting limbs, prone to detaching its body parts in an attempt to divide itself and conquer my crew. With the day one,
I think that's my main concern with this expansion is like, because it's less about exploration and it's more about just getting loot real quick and then fighting bosses. How many bosses are in the game? Like, how many runs can we do where it still feels fresh? Because like if we play the game like 2 or 3 times and like I've seen like every boss, it's gonna get old real quick. Or are they gonna update it regularly with like new content? That's what I'm curious about.
Boss dealt with, day 2 begins and the Ring of Rain rescinds, allowing your squad to take a breath, regroup, and then resume ransacking the map for upgrades.
They have Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 bosses as well as Elden Ring, so I assume quite a few.
Is as loyal to you.
Preparation for the more challenging foes to come at the end of days 2 and 3.
Okay, worlds are colliding.
It's a structure that allows for a gradual build of tension before a palpable sense of accomplishment and release with each boss felled. Over time, my squad mates and I became a well-oiled machine as far as getting the balance right between beelining for churches to snatch up valuable HP flasks and taking down the more major overworld enemies like dragons and hippos in order to get maximum XP boosts for buck before the map was cast back into darkness. We were also able to eventually settle upon the best combination of heroes for our group. You see, Night Rain doesn't feature the lengthy list of generic character classes that the original Elden Ring did, and players won't have to Google the difference between vague-sounding archetypes like the Prisoner and Wretch when they first hop into play. Instead, Night Rain offers 8 different heroes to choose from, each with very clearly identified strengths and weaknesses, in order to make it as easy to jump into as possible. 4 were playable.
Can we invade other people's games and do gang fights while a boss fight is going on?
In the preview build.
Can I use Rivers of Blood? I hope not. I hope all you Rivers of Blood players get exposed.
A hero type with a good balance between speed and
no
attack
mimic tier,
power.
no Rivers of Blood.
Guardian is a burly tank type with heavy attacks and increased damage resistance. Duchess is a nimble type with fast attacks and a killer quick-step ability. And Recluse is a mage type with ranged magical attacks. Additionally, each character features a unique skill and ultimate attack that both operate on cooldown timers. Wilder is able to use his...
See, you didn't even watch the playthrough. You niggas love to say I was Moonblade carried. I wasn't. I fought in the pocket the entire time. And during Shadow of the Erd Tree, I switched to a heavy blade. I had a slow weapon. What's next? Go watch the playthrough. It's up on YouTube. I used a basic big-ass blade that was slow as hell. Get your mimic tier out
hookshot skill to either reel in smaller enemies like Scorpion in Mortal Kombat, or to quickly zip past the swinging arms of a major boss in order to sneak a few strikes in from behind. Guardian is able to conjure up a mini tornado to knock swarms of enemies off their feet, while Recluse can put a marker on an enemy so that every time that enemy is attacked, the damage is siphoned into
Elden
boosts
Lord,
for her
Puppet
own
Master,
HP.
Grandmaster Jedi.
These unique abilities are all extremely useful in their own right, but finding ways to combine them with the special moves of your squad mates is key to surviving Night Rain's toughest enemy encounters. One strategy that my squad grew to rely on quite heavily was to unleash a damaging ultimate attack on an enemy, such as Guardian's swooping dive.
How many gay bosses will this expansion have? I hope a lot. He's joking in the chat, by the way. Wouldn't it be funny if they bought Radon back and instead of 1, it's 3 Radon consorts? Or like it's an even bigger Radon and he can group hug everybody and kiss you at once?
To beating Robin's
shout out to Quick Thinking with the sub. Appreciate it.
Dive bomb, then immediately follow it up with Duchess's restage skill, which basically creates an instant replay of the last attack landed and allows you to double the total amount of damage inflicted. It's in finding killer combinations of moves such as these that the co-op focus of Night Rain really shines. And after multiple failed attempts, my squad was finally able to progress through to the 3rd day of the cycle, which climaxed in a fight against a snarling, Cerberus-like beast called Gladius, which forced my team to coordinate and queue up skills and ultimate attacks with painstaking precision in order to overcome it. Gladius is just the first of 8 major bosses to take down in Night Rain, each with their own 3-day cycle leading up to them. In addition to the randomization of enemy types and structures, further wrinkles will be introduced.
Hey, chat, come on, y'all. You saw Mortal Kombat got 36 viewers on Twitch. Chill out, man. That shit dead as hell, chat. Let's not kick Mortal Kombat while they down. I know it's a fighting game, but let's not kick them. They down, chat. They need those 36 players, man. They're gonna wake up eventually.
Into each boss cycle, such as live volcanoes and forests full of rot, in an effort to prevent the landscape from ever growing too predictable. That's along with random events like meteor strikes, swarms of giant ants to fend off, and the surprise invasion of powerful tormentors like Margit the Fell Omen in an attempt to impede your progress. In addition to the approach...
I'm just curious of how they're going to scale it, if they're going to bring back certain bosses, because I'm not going to lie. Margaret wasn't that hard, and I refuse to believe he's going to be hard if we're jumping him in a 3v1. So it's got to be like bosses with different like move sets. They got to change it somehow.
Ability of its roster of playable characters, Night Rain has polished up a lot of Elden Ring's more abrasive edges to make it a far more friction-free experience. A new wall jump move allows you to quickly hop up and over steep sections of the terrain, while the removal of any fall damage means you can lunge off cliffs or down dark holes without pausing to study your surroundings for safe platforms. What happens if we get stuck with all 3 Radons?
If you slay them, you become a legend.
You only need to walk near a site of grace to top up your health and flasks. And if you want to spend some runes to level up, you just button mash through pages of auto leveling that best suits the base traits of your chosen character, rather than having to agonize over whether you should allocate a point to faith or dexterity, for example. It all gives each session the feeling of being shuttled along in an intense speed run, and you can get around even faster by using spectral hawks to vault across great distances of the map. Death is not necessarily the end in Night Rain either. If you find yourself down, you have a near death meter that appears above you, and your squad mates must attack you while you crawl along the ground until the meter is reduced and you can return to the fray. It may sound slightly odd to basically kick a friend while they're down, but it's a system that works quite well, particularly since you can use ranged attacks like magic or crossbows to revive a down squad mate from a distance without the risk of putting yourself in harm's way. Should all 3 of you be wiped out at once, it's the end of the session, and you must restart day 1.
So the goal is kind of like Warzone. As long as somebody stays alive, there's a chance to get everybody back up, which is going to create even funnier moments. I mean, it's going to be funny in itself, but like, if there's one person in the group who keeps going down, you know the on the knees jokes are coming. I'm glad I watched the other videos before this one because it's fire, but it misses a lot of it's fine, but it misses a lot of details.
With everyone back at level 1. So you need to stay on your toes in order to keep the rest of your squad on their feet whenever possible. While there's no doubt that elements of it are inspired by the likes of Destiny and Diablo 4, it needs to be said that Elden Ring Night Rain is not a live service game. Once you buy it, you get access to the complete package, and there are no battle passes or microtransactions to contend with.
As it should be.
It can also be played in single player should you wish to stay offline, with enemy health pools that scale down so that it's not too overwhelming for solo players. Although, curiously, there are currently no plans to allow players to play in pairs. As someone who has sunk hundreds of hours into Elden Ring, both in the original 2022 game and this year's Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, I can confidently say that From Software is onto something truly spectacular with Night Rain. Cutting throats at breakneck speed with a pair of friends in tow has been a consistently exhilarating experience so far, and especially gratifying when you work together to topple its toughest bosses using each
Proceed, because Elden Ring Night Rain is kind of like Fortnite. Okay, I'm just kidding. You'll be picking from a selection of 8 preset Nightfarers, each with their own strengths, weaknesses, abilities, and ultimates. And these characters form the foundation upon which you'll build, collecting different weapons and buffs.
I got the gist of how it plays. I want to hear his thoughts.
Corpse. I can't wait. As for my personal thoughts on the game, I'll give those full thoughts when I get a chance to play it, but the reason I'm excited is because this solves the main problem I have with Elden Ring, and that's its replayability. In Elden Ring, once you roughly know where all the items are, replaying the game becomes a bit of a chore because it's just a matter of deciding on the best.
The man yapping. I'll watch this one on my own time. I will watch this one. The gist of the info, I got it out of it. I'm gonna buy it anyway. Watch. I wonder if you have to beat a certain boss to play like this with the first DLC. It's a standalone, so I don't think so. I don't think that would be the case. But I hope they do that just so people can get exposed. You're gonna pull your achievements up. Oh, you didn't beat this boss? Will you be playing Split Fiction day 1? Yeah, depending on what comes out. Yeah. But yeah, I love their last 2 games, so I'm definitely playing it. There's no way they about to let it go with just a 3-man for real. They probably didn't want to balance it with 2. They balanced it for 1 and 3, and probably a 2 update will probably come later. That's what I'm gonna guess. What I'm not gonna guess is Marvel Rivals is not considering a role queue, no matter how annoying it is to get rinsed on a team of 6 duelists. Oh, excuse me. Marvel Rivals has a problem, one that every hero shooter since the invention of concept and every mobile before it has suffered. People keep picking DPS. Everybody wants to be the cool character. It's a little loud. Everybody wants to be the cool character. This has predictably led to cries of a role-based queue where players have to commit to playing one of the 3 roles, Vanguard, Strategist, or Duelist, before entering a game. In theory, this karmically balances things. Sure, you can play your favorite DPS hero, but to do so, you'll need to endure long queue times. Meanwhile, your tanks and healers get the VIP treatment, and crucially, all games are balanced as a result. Unfortunately for these people, Marvel Rivals isn't getting a role queue anytime soon. According to the developers in an interview with GOTY Esports, Guoyang Chen, the game's creative director, says that right now we're not considering a role queue. The team's goal is to offer a wider variety of team composition through team up skills and their own designs, so lets people play their Marvel Heroes superheroes rather than limiting people to choosing a role. And you know what's funny? I get where he's coming from, because you will see lineups that run like 3 healers, and it works. 1 tank or 2 DPSs, or 3 healers, 3 DPSs. You'll see it and it works. Ethos was crying in the group chat about how he got his scout pushed back by one of these lineups. The problem is those are people who usually play together all the time. I think role queue works maybe they should add it to like solo queue. Because in a solo queue, when you're playing with people you're not familiar with, it's a nightmare. Like I was bitching about it on Blue Sky. Follow me on Blue Sky. Every Hawkeye, they're either the worst or the best player you've ever seen. When you're running a 6 stack, you're gonna run against a good one. But if you run solo, you're gonna see the terrible Hawkeyes. These dudes play the front lines with a sniper. Why do you pick a sniper character and run up front? And they won't come off that fucking character, bro. And I feel like a lot of people who are playing Marvel Rivals, they're new to hero shooters. Not everybody's an Overwatch refugee. Like this game is Marvel, so it's gonna attract a lot of new eyeballs. So a lot of people don't know that in my opinion, you should know how to play at least 2 characters in every category. You should have some versatility in your repertoire to be able to switch. Like last night, we were struggling in one match. We got stuck halfway pushing the payload, and then I switched to the Punisher and we ended up winning because they had 2 flying characters and I kept taking them out the sky and we were making pushes. Like if you can't make those type of adjustments, you're gonna struggle on the game.
Chat twin. I guess
so. Like when I'm not gonna lie,
a super nigga like me would be super appropriate for a time like this.
Shout out to Brandon with the super chat. I appreciate you. If you're in the YouTube chat, hit the like button. I'm not gonna lie, when I hear niggas say, yo, I main Wolverine or I main Magneto, when you say you main a character, I just assume you're not that good at the game. I'm not gonna lie. You can have a preference towards a character. Like I have a preference towards playing Captain America, but I don't main nobody. I play with what the team needs. It's them people that say they main a character. Y'all niggas be losing, bro, because you don't know how to adapt to the situation. I know people get so mad because somebody has the one hero they play. They have that one hero they play, then they throw a temper tantrum and shit like that. I primarily play tank. Yeah, I primarily be playing tank, but like I've proven I'm pretty good DPS too. You got to play different characters depending on the situation. Yeah, and you got to be able to read those situations. So I get what they're saying. What they're saying is they are confident that they've created enough variety in play styles that you don't need to be like Overwatch.
Just got approved for Section 8 housing.
The problem is the customer is always right. Does the community feel that way? You know? Only time will tell. And this is why I said you got to give these games some time. Maybe over time people will come to realize you can run different types of lineups because people are still figuring out the tech. But right now people feel like you need like a role queue. I don't play with randoms like that, so I don't personally like this shit. Doesn't affect me. All you niggas playing ranked solo, God bless your heart, God bless your mental health. Because when I play with people, you just communicate on who's playing what. But it sounds to me like they're confident that they've made enough variety in the game. And they're basically saying, hey, I know you feel like we need to run this 2 healers, 2 tanks, 2 DPS type lineup like Overwatch, but we are confident enough that we feel like we've created a game where you don't have to run a specific lineup. You guys just need to figure out what works best together. Give the game more time. It's just a matter of will the people agree with that? Because people, it's a lot of competition out here. People will quit your game.
So you a real
Yo, shout out to Dark Stark with the sub. Part of me does respect the fact that they're feeling confident in what they designed. But if I could advise them, what I would say is, all right, you released this statement. You said you're not going to do any type of role queue. Keep a close eye on it. Like 2-3 months from now, if people are still feeling the same way, just give the people what they want. Because you don't want people to also rage quit either. At bare minimum, I say they should put role queues in solo ranked. And maybe like solo quick play. Well, no, yeah, at least solo ranked. Because if you're running with a party, you don't need a role queue. You just communicate. You can mismatch the different lineups. And I think that's what they're getting at. They're basically saying, hey, you guys haven't figured out all the tech yet. That's what I'm getting at. But at least for solo, I think that's the happy medium that they could do. So I'm just letting y'all know it ain't coming anytime soon. Anytime soon. What else I got for you? Oh, the first holiday event. You guys want to check out the skins for the new joint. My guy Jeff coming through with the clout goggles. He is. Marvel Rivals Splatoon. It do look like it. Yo, this trailer look at. Oh, it's. Why is he getting so much attention? Winter holiday special costumes. I'm not gonna lie, this skin might piss me off because when he first came in, I don't even know why I thought about it that way because he was swinging, but it kind of looks like Groot from it could be like a Groot skin from a distance. But nope, it's fucking Venom. Look, damn, that shit fat, bro. Y'all see that shit, chat? Little symbiote bottom. That's a Black King right there. Got that fatty. Oh, that's a fire skin. The Christmas spirit. Got that symbiote BBL.
Rocket here.
That's a fire skin.
I'm magic, and this is my soul.
That's a fire skin. Who ready to spend some money? I don't know if you're using the combined chat. What it? I had it turned on, but for some reason it's only showing the Twitch chat. I can't see it right now. The multi-stream thing, JP, it's in beta. Like it's a little funky. Like one issue that I see right now, the multi-chat isn't working for me unless I didn't do it correctly. And then also like it keeps connecting and reconnecting, like disconnecting. But then I'm checking and it says I'm still live on YouTube. So like it's still working. Like it just has weird bugs. It's in beta. Whatever. I thought combined chat wasn't allowed. I don't got it on anyway, so it wouldn't matter. Also, that's such a stupid rule. I think that is true. How would you know my chat was combined unless I admitted to it? And I just said it wasn't, so like Twitch needs to grow up, be for real. Speaking of Marvel Rivals just surprise drop a digital comic book, and you can read issue number 1 right now on Marvel Unlimited. That's the Marvel app you can download for free. This comic releases weekly and it's 6 issues. So if you want to know the story of Marvel Rivals, there's a free comic book available on the Marvel Unlimited the Marvel Unlimited app. So if you want to dig a little bit deeper about what's going on in the world, I think it has something to do with the Doctor Doom's fucking up the timeline or something like that. Oh yeah, it's jank for sure. There's supposed to be a drop menu to change where you can view, but I saw it disappear sometimes. Yeah, as long as all the displays work, like that's all. I'll take that for now. Peace out, Big Zone. Yep, just making y'all aware of that one. And that's all I got for you on the first batch of articles. So let's get into the second. I'm calling this section